Hey everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about the Naaru in World of Warcraft lore. When the universe was born in the explosion that was created from the conflicting light and void energies, shards of light were flung deep into the great dark beyond. Wherever these shards of light landed, the spark of life was given. However, some of these shards came together and coalesced into the Naaru. Xe'ra was one of the first Naaru formed in this way, and those that are formed in this way are called Prime Naaru. Archmage Khadgar had once read in an ancient cosmetology tome that the Prime Naaru may have been created by Elune, the Night Elf goddess. The Naaru are sentient beings of pure light energy, the purest expression of light in the universe, and masters of amazing technological and magical power, with the ability to both wield the light and travel through dimensions. They consist of shards of light that move freely around a central core. Velen had visions of a staggering number of Naaru throughout the universe, though we only know about a few. They are believed to be immortal, but when they do die, they always leave behind a spark. And most of them strive to use their mastery over holy magic to spread the message of light, hope, nurture life, bring peace to mortals, put an end to the Burning Legion, and stop the void from consuming existence. While the previously stated is generally true, Naaru are individuals, and not all necessarily have the same motives. They have their own personalities and their own goals. Apparently, Naaru can reproduce somehow, since Oros was stated as a part of Xe'ra's lineage. Being in the presence of a Naaru can bring inner peace to even the most bloodthirsty warriors. And Naaru have been known to resurrect people and turn them into the undead. This happened when Saa'ra resurrected Calia Menethil, turning her undead, but a special undead that was infused with the light. In rare circumstances, Naaru can enter a darkened state, as they're corrupted by the void when their physical form is damaged. Since the light and the void are polar opposites, when one weakens, the other takes over. So when a being of pure light, the Naaru, weaken, it becomes a being of the void. This is the saddest event imaginable for a Naaru, and in this weakened state, they're easily manipulated and can be used for many dark things, including making void minions. And if a dark Naaru is pushed even further, it can be transformed into a void god. But this can be reversed by a Naaru simply recharging, which can take up to 1,000 years, or it can be infused with the light by priests, like they did with the void god Saraka, and transform them back into the Naaru Saa'ra. When this happens, it's the most joyous event imaginable for the Naaru. Throughout history, Naaru were bringing together members from different races from across the universe that had been affected by the Legion into the Army of the Light to stand against the Legion. Turalyon and Alleria actually ended up joining this cause. Our first glimpse of the Naaru is when Sargeras came to Argus, home of the Mereldar, looking for powerful races to add to his Burning Legion. Velen used the Atamal crystal, which the Mereldar received from the Naaru so many years ago no one really remembers, to see the horrific fate that would befall his race if the Mereldar followed Sargeras. And even more horrifically, Velen's fellow leaders, Archimonde and Kil'jaeden, agreed to following Sargeras. The Naaru Kure had foreseen this and used the Atamal crystal to contact Velen, and offered to help Velen, along with those of his people who reject the Legion, to flee, with the help of 3 other Naaru, Lura, Kara, and Dore. Velen had his friend Talgath help gather the other Mereldar to flee, but tells the Legion of Velen's plans, and tries to stop him. Much of the Mereldar ended up joining the Burning Legion, but those who did flee fled on the ship the Genedar, a ship powered by the Naaru, which Velen summoned with the Atamal crystal, which ended up breaking into 7 pieces in the process. The Naaru Lura stayed behind to hold off the Burning Legion and give Velen and the Mereldar time to escape. She was captured by Kil'jaeden and turned into a darkened Naaru, and eventually, Lura's void powers were absorbed by Alleria Windrunner. Kil'jaeden took Velen's betrayal personally, and the Mereldar, who were evacuated with Velen, began to call themselves Draenei, which means exiled ones. The Naaru taught the Draenei how to use the light, so they could use it against their enemies, the Void and the Burning Legion. The Draenei have latched onto this power and now have many advanced Naaru-based technologies, which is enhanced by magic, and some of it can even be used to cross dimensions. The Naaru Kure also granted Velen sight, the ability to see the future, while meditating with the Atamal crystal. Over time, while powering the Genedar, Kara's strength weakened, and began to lose touch with the light as the void energies consumed it. Kara was ejected from the Genedar as they crash-landed on the world that we become known as Draenor, and remained floating above Shadowmoon Valley, the Dark Star. The crash landing killed Dore and many of the Draenei aboard. After the landing, Kure was decaying just as much as Kara was, and made the Draenei leave the ship. Now alone in this strange new world, the Draenei named the planet they landed on Draenor, or Exile's Refuge. After Velen touched the might of these dark Naaru, Velen began to receive visions not only of the light's possible futures, but the void's desired ones, greatly hindering his ability to see the future accurately. Dore was put in Auchindoun, where his form darkened and he began absorbing the souls of the dead. They slowly regenerated, resurrected, and returned to the light. When Dore was close to doing so, Adal had sent adventurers into Auchindoun to try to awaken him, which they did. Spirits of dead orcs and Draenei were attracted to the Naaru Kure. This became a holy site for the orcs, where they could commune with their dead. The orcs named the site Oshu'gun. At one point, Velen tried to tell Durotan, an orc chieftain, that the orcs were worshipping a being, a Naaru, who, while in a darkened form, attracted the souls of the dead. The shaman Drek'Thar was outraged, and the orcs were purely insulted by the idea, and they rejected the idea. The Pale Orcs, who lived in the tunnels under Nagrand, tapped into the power of Kure, and learned to wield void magic. The Pale Orcs were eventually absorbed into the Orcish Horde as the Twilight's Hammer Clan, led by the ogre Cho'gall. In alternate Draenor, alternate Cho'gall drained alternate Kure of its power and turned it into the void god Decimatus. The Shadowmoon Clan of Orcs, who lived in Shadowmoon Valley, treated the Dark Star as sacred. On alternate timeline Draenor, alternate Velen sacrificed himself to purify alternate Kara. After the Troll Wars, humans on Azeroth began to have visions of angelic beings in geometric forms of living light, the Naaru. The Naaru used these visions to guide the hearts of some humans and give them command of the light. One of the first humans to be contacted was Mereldar. She received visions of holiness, justice, compassion, retribution, and protection. Along with others who had the same visions, wrote down wisdom of the Naaru's teachings. Through these amazing powers and teachings, a religious movement was started, and they created the Church of the Holy Light in Lordaeron. When the invasion of Outland began, Khadgar and Velen prayed for the help of the Naaru against the Legion. While the Army of Light couldn't spare anyone, 3 Naaru came to their aid, arriving on their ship, which became known as Tempest Keep. These Naaru were Adal, Muru, and Oros. When the Naaru arrived on Outland, they studied its flora and fauna, and gathered samples of unusual wildlife throughout Outland in order to understand the world better. Shortly after the Naaru arrived, Kael'Thas Sunstrider captured Tempest Keep. The Naaru Muru stayed behind to defend it, but was defeated, and transported to Silvermoon City for the magic-addicted Blood Elves to feed on. They also harnessed his power without having to be devoted to the light. Blood Knights stole power of the light from Muru in order to be able to wield the light in combat. But Kael'Thas, now working with the Legion, wanted Muru back and attacked Silvermoon City. Muru was stolen and was used to guard the Sunwhale, as Kael'Thas executed his plans. Eventually, Muru transformed into the void god Entropius, and was killed by the heroes of Azeroth. The core of Muru was then used by Velen to reignite the Sunwell. Velen, Murad, and Nabundo raided Tempest Keep with their fellow Draenei, which was controlled by Blood Elves. They took a wing, the Exodar, for themselves and used it. With the help of the Naaru Oros, who escaped Draenor to Azeroth, Oros still stands at the ship's heart in the Draenei capital. Adal and the Aldor worked with Khadgar to retake Sha'tar from the Orcs. Adal then used it as a base of operations for the Sha'tar and the war against Illidan and the Burning Legion. At one point, Velen suggested that Elune, the Night Elf goddess that channels the light, seems to act similar to a Naaru and could possibly be one. Tyrande had asked Velen to never mention it again, and to not mention it to other priestesses. Light's Heart, which is the core of the Prime Naaru Xe'ra, was sent to Azeroth by the High Exarch Turalyon. It was eventually unlocked using the Tears of Elune, a powerful artifact. Xe'ra revealed that she was looking for the Child of Light and Shadow, which is prophesied to bring an end to the Age of Demons. This child was Illidan. However, Illidan was killed years ago in the raid of the Black Temple and needed to be revived. When he was revived, Xe'ra tried to forcefully fill him with light. Illidan refused and ended up killing Xe'ra. Luckily, Illidan still brought an end to the Burning Legion. Later on, when the residents of Azeroth discover Azerite, the lifeblood of the Titan soul within Azeroth, Velen said that the sensation one gets from it is similar to the sensation of the Naaru. Chris Metzen said that the Naaru are essentially the angels of the Warcraft universe, and this makes sense. They are righteous, work to destroy the opposite side, but can often be narrow-minded in their fanatical following of their own ways. They can also fall to evil, the void, and become a powerful champion of that opposite force as well, again, like angels. So hopefully you learned something about the Naaru. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, you should check me out on other platforms. I hang out on Twitter, Instagram, but especially Twitch. My wife and I stream there every single day. We put a lot of time into it, and we'd love for you to join our community. I truly hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you later. Bye.